Seattle Mariners are in Texas to battle the Rangers. First game of a two-game set. First pitch set for 7:05 at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington as Cha Sung-baek takes on Kevin Millwood and the Rangers. The Mariners have been giving up early runs during their six-game losing streak, found themselves down by at least two entering the third inning in each game over the weekend, being swept by the Angels. The skid has dropped them to last in the American League West, but still just 2 games out of first. The Rangers look for their first 3-game win streak of the season, rallying Sunday with 3 runs in the 8th for a 4-3 win over Oakland.
Blaylock, line drive, base hit right field. 1 run scores. Here comes Teixeira. He's going to score, and the Texas Rangers have taken the lead.
Closer Eric Gagne left the game in the top of the 9th with a strained right hip after facing just 1 batter. He is listed as day-to-day. For Seattle, Cha Sung-baek comes from AAA, where he has a 1-0 record and a .255 ERA. Against the Rangers, he's 3-0 with an ERA under 1. He gets the start in place of the injured Felix Hernandez. Kevin Millwood picked up a loss in his last start when Mark Burley threw his no-hitter last week. Millwood has been great with runners in scoring position, allowing opponents only a .200 average in those situations. Seattle first baseman Richie Sexson, 13 for 43 against Millwood on his career. That's a .302 average with 4 homers, 2 doubles, 4 walks, and 11 RBIs. Brad Wilkerson will most likely miss this short series as he continues to get treatment on his left knee. Pain first appeared in his knee in spring training and popped up again last week. Trainers explain it's due to irritation in the patella tendon. It's the Mariners and Rangers. Cha Sung-baek, Kevin Millwood, a 7:05 start in Arlington. You can see it live on MLB.TV beginning at 8 Eastern.
No doubt Ichiro can get big hits, but so can Hank Blaylock. He did yesterday after 2 were out in the bottom of the 8th. That's the winner right there. The Rangers beat back the Oakland A's and take 2 out of 3 in that series. Now, more competition from in the division. You got the Seattle Mariners in town tonight, the first of an abbreviated 2-game series here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Welcome to Ranger Baseball. Along with Tom Grieve, I'm Josh Lewin, and the Rangers initially thought they were going to get King Felix tonight. Felix Hernandez, a daunting proposition right there, but no. Felix Hernandez is hurt. It's Cha Sung-baek instead.
Yeah, and generally you would say that's great news for the Ranger hitters. Felix Hernandez, one of the best young pitchers in all of baseball. He's off to a great start this year. But if you look at the numbers both pitchers have against the Rangers, it tells a little bit different story. Felix Hernandez against the Rangers has a losing record and an ERA over 4. Cha Sung-baek, on the other hand, has pitched 3 times against the Rangers, beat them all 3 times with an ERA under 1. So you miss Felix, that's for sure, but the guy you get's been pretty tough on these hitters.
So the Rangers taking aim at a Seattle team, led by Cha Sung-baek tonight, and these guys are mad. They've lost 6 in a row. They had to come in from Anaheim yesterday to continue their road trip. They're looking for a win. Kevin Millwood looking to stick it to him. He's on the mound for the Rangers tonight, as it is the first of this quick 2-game series coming up next right here on FSN Southwest. Texas Ranger Baseball brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Bold moves. Ford is the best in Texas. By Progressive. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Also by Jack in the Box. We don't make it till you order it. And by Southwest, the official airline of the Rangers. Visit southwest.com. Overcast and breezy as Kevin Millwood takes to the mound. He is 2-2 for the year. And last time out gave the Rangers a lot of 5s. 5 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, 55 strikes on the wrong end of the Mark Burley no-hitter in Chicago. Ichiro's at the plate, and we are underway.
I guess if you're going to give up 5 runs in 5 innings, you might as well do it on a night where you're being no-hit, because it doesn't make much difference what you do.
Right. You could have given up 1 run on 1 hit, and you still would have lost it.
Yep.
So Ichiro's in, hitting .298. And last time we saw Ichiro, he was stuck in a bit of a tailspin, but he's come out of that okay. He's got a 7-game hitting streak. Ichiro slashing one, and there goes the no-hitter. Ichiro coasting into second base. He's got an 8-game hitting streak now. Well, he does seem to come to this ballpark and get things going.
When Ichiro looks for a fastball and decides he wants to turn on it, he becomes an entirely different hitter. Instead of just slapping the ball, trying to hit it on the ground the other way, maybe beat out an infield hit, loop one into the outfield, he turns into one of the big guys because he's got some pop in his bat.
These Mariners have been swinging the bats very aggressively. Doesn't always translate into success. But for the most part, they're up there hacking, Tom. I mean, here's Beltre. He's got 7 walks. The whole rest of the team has 20. 27 walks total for this team. Here we are on April 23rd.
At 27 walks is the fewest in the league this early in the season by almost 15 or 20 walks. I mean, it's ridiculous how few times this team has walked.
We give them a small pass on that because they've had all those games rained out and snowed out. Former Ranger great Mike Hargrove brought his team to Cleveland and watched it snow for 5 days.
Yeah, and you're right. That is something that you have to take into consideration.
But still, I mean, 27 walks in, 14 games? That's not even 2 walks a game. And there's what you're talking about, Tag, right there. On base percentage of .302. I think that says it. And again, in fairness, the Rangers aren't exactly in first place in that category.
You can read off some of their walk totals. In fact,
you want me to?
Well, I'm going to read them off real quick. Betancourt has 45 at bats. He hasn't walked yet. Guillen has 46 at bats. He's walked once. Jojima 38 at bats. He's walked once. Lopez 44 at bats. He's walked once. Ichiro 57 at bats. He's walked twice. And Ibanez 54 at bats. He's walked 3 times. I mean, those are incredibly low numbers of walks for the at bats that they've got.
Rest of the batting order for the Seattle Mariners brought to you by Southwest. After Ichiro and Beltre, it's Vidro and Ibanez and Sexton, who doesn't have a single yet this year. Guillen, Betancourt, Lopez, and not Jojima, but former Ranger Jamie Burke. Actually, former Ranger AAA guy Jamie Burke. There's a ground ball to third. Blaylock will look Ichiro back and throw out Beltre. Let us scout out Kevin Millwood while we have the chance. He's in with that 2-2 record.
Rico scouting report. April 13th at Seattle a couple of starts ago. He got the win. 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 run in that ball game. 287 is what the opponents hit against him, but with runners in scoring position, it drops down to 200. And his ERA since the start of the 2005 season is very solid. You know, Josh, we're talking about how few times Seattle has walked. Their on base percentage still is 2 points higher than the Rangers. They're second to the last at .302. The Rangers have the lowest on base percentage in the league at 30%.
Only one National League team is worse than that. And remember, in the National League, the pitchers have to swing the bat. So, yeah, it's not been a point of strength for the Rangers getting on base, getting guys in, but they're a game out of first place.
I mean, that's the bottom line. We talked about that yesterday. With all the offensive problems that the Rangers have had, they're 1 game behind Oakland, 1 game behind the Angels.
It is definitely the year that you appreciate nobody racing out 14-5 or something like that. The Angels and the A's are tied for first at 9-9. Vidro fouling one into the crowd.
You know, I would rather have the offense struggling right now than have the young pitchers struggling, because you worry about the young pitchers and how they're going to perform. But the way that Cam Lowe pitched, yes, 2 days ago, he was just outstanding. One of the best sinkers he's had as a Ranger. That was very nice to see. Tejeda yesterday continued to throw really well. And as far as the hitting goes, that's going to happen. I mean, that 30% on base percentage is going higher. The averages are going higher. And that's just a matter of time. In the meantime, it's nice to have the young pitchers pitching well.
Well, some satisfaction for Ron Washington, beating his former team 2 out of 3. There's another foul by Vidro. Terrific comeback effort yesterday. The Rangers really didn't have anything going on that whole game. But then they finally got that brief little flicker of an opportunity in the 8th inning, and they made the most of it.
The game in Seattle where Vidro hit the 2 home runs, he hit them both on off-speed pitches, curveball and a changeup.
That's off speed. That's back to Millwood, who will freeze Ichiro and calmly throw out Vidro.
Yeah, Vidro may have struggled with a fastball, but still, you can get anybody out with that kind of a curveball. When you hang it, that's a different story. But that was a solid curveball from Kevin. Outside corner and down. And even though Vidro timed it okay, there wasn't much he was going to do with it in the location that Kevin threw it.
We mentioned Millwood on the wrong end of the no-hitter in his last start. We're coming up on the anniversary of Millwood's no-hitter. That was late April as a Philadelphia Philly a few years ago. There's ball 1 to Raul Ibanez. Four years ago for Millwood, 10 strikeouts in the game. He walked 3. He didn't really flirt with perfection. There was an error in the game and 3 walks. A 1-0 win on a first inning home run by Ricky Leday, who also made a great running catch on a ball in center for Kevin. Just the 3rd 1-0 no-hitter in National League history, believe it or not. Now the Rangers, as we mentioned, they'll be up against Cha Sung-baek tonight, 27-year-old right-hander, with an alarming bit of success here at this ballpark. That ball in the air for Lofton in left center, now curling towards Catalinato. And some slice on that going over to Cat. Leadoff double and then nothing else. So Lofton, Catalinato, and Young coming up against Cha Sung-baek. No score. Well, you wouldn't think of Cha Sung-baek as the Rangers' arch enemy necessarily, but he's just had incredible numbers against the Rangers, and a bit of a challenge tonight for a team that has already been struggling to find its way offensively. Southwest Airlines starting lineup: Lofton, Catalinato, and Young. Teixeira, Sosa, and last night's hero, Hank Blaylock. Ian Kinsler always seems to hit Seattle pretty well for some reason. You've got Nelly Cruz and Gerald Laird following up. Let us follow up on Cha Sung-baek now. I'll tell you a little bit about him. His first start at the big league level this year.
The Rico scouting report shows against the Rangers he's been outstanding. 3-0 in 3 starts. Only 11 hits in 21 innings. This year at AAA, he pitched very well. He was in Tacoma. He was 1-0 with a 2.55 ERA. Allowed 2 or fewer runs in 18 of his last 27 AAA starts. So he deserves to be in the big leagues. I mean, he's pitched well enough there to be in the big leagues. I'm surprised that they hadn't penciled him in to be one of their starters this year. The way he pitched in AAA last year and the way he pitched for Seattle, he was 4-1 with a 3.67 ERA and 6 late season starts with Seattle last year. So he's where he should be, and he's pitched really well against the Rangers. They hit at a 147 clip against him in those 3 starts.
Now on Sports Outside, of course, they've got a lot of money committed to other spots in this rotation. Guys like Jared Washburn, they bring in Jeff Weaver. You knew those guys were going to be in the rotation. Obviously, Felix Hernandez would be in there. There's a grounder to short for Betancourt. And Kenny Lofton is out. Felix Hernandez just turned 21 years old. We will not see him in this series. Defensively, here's who we will see. Tonight, Adrian Beltre at third, then Betancourt, Lopez, and Sexton round the horn. Felix Hernandez, by the way, 17 innings, 4 hits this year. Opponents are 4 for 53 against him. 1 runner reaching third base. And we're told 4 balls that have actually been hit to the outfield on the fly in those 17 innings against Felix. So that ball is hit in the air and, yeah, to the outfield. Not by much, but it's on the grass. And Catalinato is out. Michael Young coming up next. Beck with those numbers against the Rangers, Tom. 3-0, 0.83 lifetime. Just doing the math, that makes him against everybody else in baseball 3-5 with an ERA of 6. But against the Rangers, the guy's been Don Drysdale, Sandy Koufax, Bob Gibson, and everybody else rolled into one.
He's done it with a really good assortment of pitches. He's got a good changeup, throws a curveball, a slider, solid average fastball. And for whatever reason, he is matched up well against our hitters.
That's about as bad as it's ever going to get for Michael Young. The 2 for 32. Goes to right field with it, and it carries, but not nearly enough. Shy of the warning track. It is put away by Guillen. Quick little 9-pitch inning for Cha-Sung Beck. There is no score. No score, second inning. We say hello to Jim Knox.
Okay, thank you, Josh. Great night in the Fox Box. That's right, the place to be for discount tickets. $10 seats right here in the Fox Box, called 972 Rangers for May 4th or May 6th games against those Toronto Blue Jays. Got a group in from Ruston, Louisiana. The honor students from Ruston Junior High having a good time so far, right? There we go. Their final field trip of the day, and they picked a good one to watch the Rangers play tonight against those Seattle Mariners. And one other special group. Check these guys out, these fine ladies. This is Nancy from the Golden Cowgirl Club. What's the criteria for this club, Nancy?
Well, we don't have any more criteria. We're old barrel racers, and we don't have any more members. It's only 4 because we only have 4 seats in the car.
The oldest member?
81.
Well, go ahead and stand up. 81. Go ahead and stand up. There you go. They got the flag, and also...
She's 82.
Okay, we'll give her 82. She looks great. And also, you 20 push-ups real quick. No.
This is Sis.
Okay, hey, sis. How you doing? Good to have you here. And you also have the whistle. So you come and you're loud, right? Go ahead. That'll be nice here in the Fox Box the rest of the night, Josh. Thank you.
All right, Jim, thank you.
Everybody in Marshall and Hallsville, Texas.
You just did. There you go. Thank you.
Welcome, ladies. Richie Sexton down on strikes, by the way. Jose Guillen to the plate. Oh, we were watching Ichiro and Akinori Otsuka renewing acquaintances before the game, Tom, and that reminded me of one of the many things differentiating Japanese professional baseball and professional baseball over here. Did you know that ushers blow whistles in Japan when foul balls are headed into the stands? It's like it's like a heads-up kind of thing.
I love that.
So just, if you do happen to be paying no attention to the game at all, talking to your neighbor, all of a sudden if you hear a police whistle, that means stop talking, pay attention. Jose Guillen, the batter. Betancourt to follow. Some of the other differences that U.S. players face when they go to Japan, I think some of this stuff is fascinating. Spring training is about 7 weeks long. Exhibition games don't start till about the 4th or 5th week, so you're practicing without playing any games for more than a month. Most bullpens are completely out of sight under the stadium in Japan. Some gamesmanship. That way the opposing manager doesn't know who's warming up. One thing I know Kevin Millwood would appreciate, starting pitchers don't make road trips if they're not on the schedule. They just stay home and work out.
Gotta like that.
That ball fouled away. I think one of the other adjustments that the guys all talk about over there, how the visiting players, they don't have a clubhouse for them. You put your uniform on at the hotel and then bus on over.
Huh. And I'm talking to Bobby Valentine, who manages over there. A lot of their road trips, they pack their own equipment, carry their own baseball bags, and they go on a subway. Train, not a subway, train. Got a room with all the players on the train. Train gets to the destination. You get your luggage for your own clothes, and then you get your luggage for the baseball team too.
Off the field, I'm sure there's a lot. I mean, if you're a player from the U.S. and you go to Japan, I mean, we talk about Japanese players coming here and getting accustomed to things both on the field and off the field. We just kind of expect that assimilation to happen very quickly for some reason. There's a grounder to Kinsler, an out number 2. But you go to Japan, And C.J. Wilson among those that has actually been there. Brad Wilkerson has been there as well. I mean, little stuff like traffic driving on the left side of the road and all that kind of thing. Passengers at the subways and the trains. You got to line up at a marked spot. There's no crowding towards the door. You just stand on an X and you wait. The one that I think I'd appreciate, though, the custom of there being no tipping under any circumstances in Japan.
Wow.
You're not supposed to
you
leave
assume
a tip,
good
period.
service.
That's right.
And businesses pay their employees. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It must be a tough custom for them to become accustomed to over here.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know that over here you're supposed to leave the 15 or 20% or whatever, you just get up and leave. You know, I mean, you're looked at as, boy, what a rude person not to leave a tip. But over there, you're rude if you do leave a tip.
Huh.
Anything you want to know about Korea, or should we move on? No.
Yeah, I'd like to know a little bit about Korea.
We'll ask Cha Sung-baek to come on up. 1-1 the count to the Cuban defector, Junieski Betancourt, and he'll sail one towards center. You've got Lofton right there, putting it away. And Seattle still off the scoreboard. Here come the Rangers, bottom of the second. Texas Ranger Baseball brought to you by your Texas Dodge dealers, also by Geico Insurance, and by Rico. We missed a birthday yesterday, Tom.
Did we?
David Clyde is now 52 years old.
Wow.
Ranger fans will remember him as being very much 18 years old when he made his debut.
David was a very important part of Ranger history. There's no doubt about that. Back then, Bob Short was strapped for cash, was having a hard time paying off the hotels where we stayed on the road. Sure, he was barely making the payroll. And so they brought David Clyde right straight to the big leagues and sold out the first night, the only sellout we had the whole year.
He debuted 6 days after his high school prom.
And then pitched after that and had probably the 4 or 5 of the 10 biggest crowds we had all season long were the crowds that came to watch David pitch. So he may have just bailed out Bob Short financially all by himself that year.
No pressure there. Teixeira pulls one foul, 2-2.
It definitely wasn't the best thing for David's career. The best thing would have been for David to go to the rookie league and work his way through the minor leagues, and over a 4-year period with kids his own age.
He had a great line. He said it was like going from high school anatomy class to doing brain surgery.
Well,
going.
I guess you could probably make a case that it is a pretty good analogy. He handled it as well as an 18-year-old could possibly handle it, but it was an impossible task. It just wasn't fair to him.
He was chosen over, among others, Dave Winfield and Robin Yount in that 73 draft, though no one seemed to be complaining at the time. It was good theater. That ball pops foul by Teixeira. Rangers also got Len Barker in that summer's draft. But yeah, David Clyde asked for and received the number 32 in honor of Sandy Koufax. Went out in the opener, beat Jim Cott. Walked the first 2 batters of the game, I think, right? And then recovered.
Yeah, and struck out the next 3.
That's real good theater.
Can't remember when they scored. I think it was the 5th inning or the 6th inning. Someone hit a 3-run homer off him. He had a shutout going for the first 4 innings. He'd thrown a lot of pitches. I think he pitched 5 innings and left with that 4-3 lead. And then Bill Gogolewski came on in relief and pitched the last 4 innings and got a 4-inning save, if I remember right. A lot of pressure on Gogo that day too, because everyone wanted to see David get the win.
Mark Teixeira, a very patient at bat. He had one of those yesterday as well, setting up the Blaylock heroics.
Well, the Rangers don't win yesterday if Tex didn't work that walk against Justin Butcher. It's a good quality to have. Patience at the plate and take a walk. For when you are in a slump, you can still help your team by getting on base. And, Tex is off to a slow start, batting average wise, power wise, but he's still getting on base a lot because he's patient and he's taking a walk.
Sammy Sosa also worked a walk in that rally yesterday with the bases loaded. Already more pitches in this inning from Beck than in last inning.
Well, Beck lives on the corners. That's how he gets you out. He has to stay away from the middle of the plate. And a good game plan, make him get it up and make him bring it into the strike zone. Don't help him out by swinging pitches out of the strike zone. No fastball there for Sammy. 2 balls and no strikes. Instead, he's doing a little slider. Sammy swung like it was a fastball. Oh, he was going for it.
And it wasn't wildly out of the strike zone either. Sammy hoisting that one into center. Ichiro moving in and under it. 1 down.
Good fastball there. Got in on his hands a little bit.
By the way, I just looked it up. Tag Mike Adams had the home run against David Clyde.
Yep, forgot the name.
They say David Clyde's senior year of high school down in Houston, he allowed 3 earned runs all year. And according to David Clyde, they were all in a Saturday morning game after he had spent Friday night at a party. Yesterday's hero, Hank Blaylock, and he goes after the first one. Knifes that into left center. That ball taking off, but Ichiro runs after it, and he's got it. 4 of the 5 outs have been fly ball outs, collected here by Cha-Sung Beck. Beck signed by a guy that we were talking about the last time Kevin Millwood started, because Millwood started against Mark Burley. Burley had a no-hitter. Jim Colburn, one of the very few others ever to no-hit the Texas Rangers. Jim Colburn's the guy that signed Cha-Sung Beck. Well, I guess has carved himself a real niche is Jim Colburn, scouting that Pacific Rim.
Jim Colburn was Ben's first minor league manager in A-ball. He was working in the A's organization.
Oh, that's right. That massive year that Ben had.
Good pitching guru. Good pitching guru. Actually, it was his second year, not the rookie league season, but the second year in Michigan. Jim's a good baseball man, boy. Great guy. Good pitching coach, too.
Kinsler works the count to 2-0. Right now, Ian's second in the league in home runs, third in runs batted in, second in slugging percentage, but not projecting as a middle of the order guy quite yet, right? I mean, he's been hitting bottom third or first or second in the order pretty much all year.
Yeah, and he's gone from 9th to 7th against right-handed pitching, so that's moving up in the lineup. But there's still more experienced guys in the middle of the lineup. He's been hotter than any of them right now. But I think the concession that Ron has made to the start that Ian's had is to move him against right-handers from 9th to 7th. And I'm sure as his career goes on, he'll move from 7th right on up to either the top of the order or the middle of the order. But he's an excellent second-place hitter, because not only does he provide you with offensive power, but he can hit behind the runner. We saw him do that with a hit and run the other day. We saw him do it in Seattle, hit behind the runner, take advantage of the hole. He's a versatile hitter that won't be hitting 7th or 8th or 9th much longer, that's for sure.
Among the Rangers looking for his first home run, Nelson Cruz. A lot of people see Nelly as a 20 to 30 home run guy, not too far from now. Teixeira, Blaylock, and Cruz. All of them, Tom, right now with a home run total of 0. Here we are, game number 19 of the season.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, boy.
Kinsler, meantime, has 7. Matt Cata's got 2. Matt Cata's got 2 home runs. Nelson Cruz, Teixeira, and Blaylock have combined for 0. That's amazing. Want to bet some money, though, that those 3 guys will have more than Cata by the end of the year?
Well, yeah, I think they probably will. Matt's going to have a hard time getting the same amount of at-bats that they do. But
yeah, it's not that Matt's not a good hitter.
No, I sure like the way he's swinging the bat, though.
In right field, there's another fly ball out. 2 walks, but that's it. We're at the end of 2 here in Arlington. Still no score. We invite you to stay tuned for tonight's Texas Truck Stop, brought to you by Dodge. Our guest will be Michael Young. If you've ever wanted to know what's on Michael Young's iPod, we'll let you know tonight. Lopez, Burke, and top of the order Ichiro here in the top of the third inning. Only one hit in the game. That was Ichiro, who led off the game with a double. And again, here we are 3 weeks into the season tag, but hits are definitely at a premium in most Ranger games. That one slowly hit. Blaylock got a bare hand and fire. It gets away. And Teixeira's going to have to go get it. Lopez down to second. Boy, that's unfortunate. You had a chance to actually get him. Instead, you're looking at the leadoff man at second base.
That was almost a great play by Hank. Hank was playing in, but the ball was topped just like a bunt. It's tough to throw it when you get that kind of a hop. It's tough to get the right kind of grip on it. Hank made a nice play. It was going to be really close, and if the throw was down, you might have had a chance to get him, but the ball sailed on him. Probably because of that hop, he wasn't able to get a good grip on the ball.
Jamie Burke is playing in place of Kenji Jojima tonight, but that's not been a real fall off this year when Burke steps in there for Jojima. In fact, Seattle catchers this year, Tom, against the Rangers are 9 for 11.
Wow.
Burke's got 3 of the hits. Jojima's got 6 of the hits. Burke had a big hit against the Rangers when he played against them in a Saturday afternoon game. He missed a sign and whacked a double into the right field corner to score the first run of the game. You don't often see Millwood 3-0 on the number 9 batter, but here he is. The Seattle team 5-9. With all those postponements as well. They went out on a 7-game road trip, only got 2 of the 7 games in. So Seattle, here they are on April 23rd, Tom. They've got no saves. The only other team in baseball with no saves, the New York Yankees.
New York Yankees.
And that's
Mariano Rivera.
Yep.
Wow. And J.J. Putz.
If you've got them on your fantasy team, you're going, guys, come on.
Based on what they did last year, and for Rivera many years before that, you would expect different.
At least the Yankees are winning some games. They just tend to win them either in walk-off fashion or 12-2.
And Rivera's blown a couple of saves, too.
Yes, he has. How about that Yankees game last night? They were ahead, and then something that has only happened a handful of times in baseball history. 4 home runs in 4 at-bats. Ramirez, Drew, Lowell, and Varitek for Boston. Inside corner, down goes Burke.
Pitch. Burke a little bit late with a fastball, and he jammed him with that pitch. Couldn't pull the trigger on it. Right on the inside corner. Come back for 3 balls and no strikes, and just put that right on the corner, right where you want it.
Second time that Millwood has been 3-0 on somebody and come back to get him in this game.
Ichiro led off the game with a double and stayed right at second base. Lopez infield hitting an error. Still at second after 1 batter anyway.
In there to Ichiro.
Ichiro belted a fastball for a double the first time up. Kevin came right back and said, here's another one. See if you can hit this one right on the inside corner at 93 miles an hour.
Millwood gets ahead 0-2. Your Ford League leaderboard, most hits since 2003. Both these guys on display for you tonight, Ichiro and Michael Young. There they are in full Technicolor. Ichiro on the left, Michael Young on the right. Well, another swashbuckling swing there from Ichiro.
And Ichiro took the first pitch right at the top of the strike zone, called strike one. And Kevin's just lifted it about 4 or 5 inches out of the strike zone. Ichiro swung at the last 2 pitches. Then he drops that curveball a little bit below the knees, right above the ankles. See if he can get Ichiro to swing at a bad pitch.
Millwood again, the 0-2. Heading up the middle, but Young cuts it off. Got to get rid of it. Safe. When Ichiro had that 262 hit season to set a big league record, a lot of the hits were like that. You hit it slowly on the ground, and even a guy like Mike Young with a great arm, there's just precious little you can do.
Yeah, you want to see why Ichiro hits 350. Here's one of the reasons why. Basic ground ball to shortstop, and he beats it out. Probably aren't 3 or 4 guys in baseball that are going to beat that ball out. He gets down there in a hurry. He's almost at a full sprint as he's making contact with the ball. He steps and starts to run as he's swinging, so he gets a great start out of the box. A good pitch by Kevin too. It was the curve ball. It was down and away, hit it off the end of the bat. But his speed is such an incredible asset. You can see him turning toward first, getting that start as a left-hand hitter. So a good start and great speed. That combination gives him a base hit.
There's a combination brewing here too. Millwood is usually very slow to the plate. Ichiro loves to run. He's not running yet.
Got a big lead too.
Yeah, that's 10 straight strikes, by the way, thrown by Millwood now. Millwood a couple of years ago gave up the most stolen bases in baseball. And Ichiro, a guy, even now as he heads towards his mid-30s, it's good for about 40 stolen bases a year.
We timed that in the truck at 3.68 seconds to get to first base. Rounded off to 3.7. That's motoring.
Ground ball foul. Ichiro has not attempted to steal the base yet. The Mariners have only 1 stolen base all year. It's another just staggering stat. It can be April 23rd and you've got 1 stolen base.
Well, we've got first and third and 1 out on 2 balls that if you didn't even try to field them, maybe wouldn't have rolled to the outfield. That's how slowly they were hit. I guess Ichiro's would have made it. Lopez's wouldn't have made it to third base.
Beltre pops it foul. Well, the 2 third basemen in this game, Beltre and Blaylock, certainly have power potential. We point out the third baseman for the Yankees, another home run, by the way. A-Rod just hit number 13.
Boy.
Tampa Bay leading that game, though, 6-4. Wild swing and a miss, and down goes Beltre.
That's pretty nice pitching right there. You got one of their key guys up there, first and third, 1 out, scoreless game. Battle them. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and strike him out on a curveball in the dirt. Get him to swing at a bad one. Of course, the pitch before it was a hanging curveball. He missed his shot right there. And there's one that's way outside. He missed that one completely. And if you're Beltre, you go back to the bench saying, I missed my chance. Got a hanging curveball right down the middle of the plate, make contact, hit a fly ball, get a run. But he missed it. That was his shot. And then Kevin got him to swing it 1 out of the strike zone. See you later.
Earlier in the inning, Tom, remember the number 9 hitter, the backup catcher Jamie Burke, had a 3-ball no strike count. Since that time, Millwood has poured in 13 strikes in a row.
With a little bit of help from the Seattle hitters. That's some good pitching right there. Jammed him.
Right on Vidro. Kinsler recovers and throws out Jose Vidro. So Millwood in and out of trouble there in the 3rd inning. It stays scoreless here in Arlington. Folks, bringing a regular Miller or Diet Dr. Pepper can to the Rangers ticket office for half-price tickets to a lot of Ranger home games in both April and May. For more information on which games, call 972 Rangers. You know, the Yankees are coming in a week from tomorrow, and there are tickets available for the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday series against New York. No score, bottom 3. Here is Gerald Laird, who is now 1 for his last 31. And when we can throw out some pretty good players, Tom, that have had slumps even worse. If it makes Gerald feel any better, Derek Jeter had an 0 for 32. Robin Ventura once had an 0 for 41. Jose Canseco had an 0 for 40 with the A's his rookie year, and he was still rookie of the year. So,
well, you take his 1. What'd you say? 1 for 32.
1 for 31 right now.
1 for 31. What's Michael? 2 for 33.
2 for 33.
I mean, that's just incredible.
Now trying to bunt his way on to change it up. Some Ranger fans will remember Vic Harris from that 1972 team.
I remember Vic.
He was hitless in his first 36 big league at bats. So,
wow.
Gerald, you're doing fine. For the year, 5 out of 48, batting average of 104. And if there's any justice, that drops in for him. But there is no justice. That is a great catch. It's a foul ball anyway, but a terrific catch by Lopez for out number 1.
Kind of slicing away from Lopez. Didn't look like he was going to get to it. Sexton gets turned around a little bit, but Lopez, it looked like, called for it. Made a nice play. Right in that light blue webbing of his glove.
Now the only Ranger to have hit the ball on the ground up right now, Kenny Lofton. Everybody else fly ball outs right now. The Rangers are being no hit at home by a guy whose career mark here in Arlington is terrific. Cha Sung Beck. He's now pitched 17 innings here, Tom. He's only given up 2 runs.
Pretty amazing.
Lofton breaks up the no-hitter. Got ahead 2-0. And he rams it into center field. Well, the ageless number 7, Kenny Lofton. He was on base 3 times yesterday. The Rangers were more than happy to run around yesterday. Kenny Lofton stole 2 bases. The Rangers as a team stole 4. The most they've had in one game in more than 5 years. And could be a time when Kenny's on the move again. Ron Washington not shy about putting that pedal down on the ground and saying, let's go. Beck cognizant of that. He'll chase Lofton back one more time. Do we have any brownies left, by the way, up here?
We got a lot of brownies left. And we need to thank our friends at Mimi's Frozen Custard for those brownies. She brought up a batch of them that are absolutely delicious. You want some frozen custard that's delicious? Sweets, sandwiches. Debbie Lane in Mansfield, Texas. Mimi's Frozen Custard.
There's a strike to Catalanato. We'll be able to head on back to where he's played the last few years on this upcoming Ranger road trip going to Toronto. Rangers will go to Cleveland first. They, in theory, will play a 2-game series here at Jacobs Field, the place where Kenny Lofton played so well for so many years. But the weather forecast in Cleveland, Tag, is brutal.
It's been, I mean, you couldn't have had a bigger nightmare for the Indians than the weather they've had in April.
Seattle knows that all too well. They went up there for the 4-game series, didn't get to play a game. Catalanato moves the runner. 2 out. Now Lofton at second base for Michael Young. Yeah, the Mariners broadcasters were saying they got into Cleveland. There was 1 inch of snow on the ground. It didn't look like they'd play that first game. They tried. They got to within 1 strike of when it would have been an official game. And then they got banged. Then they got snowed out the next 3 games, hung around on the off day. And remember, we said there was 1 inch on the ground when they came in. They said there were 11 inches on the ground when they left.
Oh, man.
Dave Niehaus is still wiped out from that trip.
I mean, there's only so much to do in any city, but when you've got snow on the ground and nowhere to go, that hotel gets awful small.
Michael Young, right center. Ichiro streaking across to put it away. Keep Michael Young in his funk. And the Rangers keeping them off the board at the end of 3. To the 4th inning, it is time for the Aflac trivia question, brought to you by Aflac Insurance. Hey, Tag, tomorrow's the anniversary of an important event in Ranger history. But what is it? That's the question.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow, April the 24th.
I guess we'll have to wait and find out. I was talking about the delicious stuff we got from Mimi's. We also had a beautiful box of delicious kolaches sent up today from Lisa Sones. She manages the Kolache Depot Bakery in Ennis, Texas, and she'd like us to say hello to her mom and dad, Betty and Jim Nelson. They're from Stevenson, Washington. They must be in town now.
Ennis is down in the Kolache Belt. You know, there's the Bible Belt, the Rust Belt. There's also a Kolache Belt, and Ennis is in it.
They're season ticket customers. Well, the kolaches were delicious. The brownies were delicious. And we got plenty for tomorrow and the next day, too. So thank you very much for the delicious treats that were sent up today.
Abanya's fouling one away. Well, hey, bring him for sustenance in Cleveland. We're going to be rained out for a couple days. And you've suggested there's...
Boy, there's been some times we'd love to have this stuff on the road.
Boy, no kidding.
And we do occasionally. Shirley, our cookie lady, travels with a team a lot. Sometimes bakes cookies on the road. She baked some down in Tampa Bay one day, but they wouldn't let her bring them into the ballpark.
Well, that was the old regime, though.
That was the Vincent Amole regime.
Right.
Really fan-friendly group they had down there.
They didn't let scouts use the bathroom.
No.
So, I mean, Shirley had no shot. Slowly hit. Michael Young's going to charge and get rid of it too late. There's
ridiculous.
Another infield hit for Seattle. They've had 3 of those. This time is to lead off the 4th inning in a scoreless game. Millwood shaking his head like he can't believe it.
Well, you know, the frustrating part for a pitcher is you've made 3 really good pitches, and all the hitters could do were the little infield dribblers. That jammed Ibanez, hit it so softly, beat it out. Hit it hard, you'd be out. 3 softly hit infield hits in the last 2 innings.
Well, here's a candidate to hit the ball solidly coming to the plate now, Richie Sexson. That is, if he makes contact. Sexton strikes out a lot. When he does make contact, it's scary. But his strikeout totals the last few years, 154, 167, 151. He had a 178 with Milwaukee. But he's also had a 45 home run season twice. Popped way up there. In foul ground to Shera circling. He's got it. Jose Guillen coming up next. First, we go to Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Josh. It is North Texas night here at Rangers Ballpark. Something like 500 students on hand, along with their head basketball coach, Johnny Jones. You got to throw out the first pitch. What was that like, hitting the field?
It was exciting, but I was a little nervous getting out there. That's definitely not my cup of tea playing baseball. Played a little bit in little leagues, but throwing out the first pitch in front of this type of crowd, I was a little nervous.
Did a nice job. Threw a strike right there. Let's talk basketball. You guys make the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1988. That had to be a dream come true for you because he played where?
LSU.
LSU, an LSU fan right here recognized him, played guard at LSU. But that had to be a dream come true for you as a coach.
It was, and it was very exciting for me because when I came here to the University of North Texas, one of my things was to try to get our team back to the tournament. And they hadn't been there since '88. We thought we had the right combination of guys, and some great things happened for us. And we're very blessed that we stayed healthy all year long, got hot at the right time, and we're very fortunate to win our Sun Belt Conference championship.
All right, Coach, good to see you, and best of luck next year. You got Texas on the schedule.
I sure appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Coach. Game's up with a super pit in Denton. Guillen with a single, and it's now 2 on and 1 out for Junieski Betancourt. And another ball that wasn't exactly roped, but found center field there. And it is a situation now, Tag, where the Mariners have 5 of the 6 hits in the game.
Yeah, 3 of them weren't hit out of the infield. That was a fairly hard hit line drive. The one hard hit ball was the first ball of the game that Ichiro roped into right field for a double. That ball was hit hard. But since that time, a lot of softly hit balls, even though there's been 4 hits.
Betancourt and then Lopez, the 7 and 8 part of the order here now. Millwood at one point had thrown 14 strikes in a row and was at 21 of 23. But now a 2-0 count on Betancourt. Again, this is not an easy bunch of players to walk. An average of fewer than 2 walks per game for this Seattle team. But Betancourt looking at a 3-0 count. Lopez on deck. Rangers and Mariners play tomorrow afternoon. Yes, afternoon. 1:05 first pitch. Vicente Padilla will throw that first pitch. (3-1) is in too tight. So now they are loaded up. Kevin Millwood's got to deal with that. And we mentioned Padilla will deal with the Mariners tomorrow. Panda Express gives you the pitching matchup. Jared Washburn, the lefty, going for Seattle. Hope you can make it out of here to the ballpark. 1 o'clock is when they'll play that national anthem. 1:05 is when Padilla throws the first pitch. Well, Lopez hit the ball on the ground last time. And if you can get him to do that and do it a little harder than he did last time, well, maybe you've got a chance to turn 2, get out of the inning. On the ground hard, but it squirts into right. 1 run in and a quick throw back in will keep it at 1-0. Nice job by Nelly Cruz to go get it. Well, again, the Mariners are finding some holes. Lopez now 2 for 2. And neither ball has been exactly crushed.
That ball jammed him. He just kind of sliced that ball in the hole. They're not hitting the ball hard, but you're right. They are finding some holes. Fastball in. I mean, he's going the other way, inside out swing. And the big thing he did was locate it well.
So 1-0 here on the out-of-town scoreboard time. You've got Tampa Bay leading the Yankees 7-5 tonight. That game in the 6th. It has featured another Alex Rodriguez home run, number 13. Toronto's got a 4-3 lead in Boston. Frank Thomas a home run. Well, here is a double play candidate. Jamie Burke runs like you'd think a backup catcher runs. Get him to hit the ball on the ground and see if you avoid Ichiro now in this 4th inning. Millwood rallied from a 3-0 count to strike out Mr. Burke last inning. Rip and a miss. 94-mile-an-hour heat. Millwood's not fooling around.
Well, he's got good stuff tonight. He's throwing the ball well. Just hasn't had any luck. That's a good ball with good movement on it, too.
On 0-2. We'll do it again. Mark Burley's at it again, Tom. Of course, he no-hit the Rangers facing Millwood last time out. Won't be a no-hitter this time, but he is one-hitting Kansas City in the 5th inning.
And, well, you go back to what he did against Oakland. Against Oakland, the start before the Rangers.
That ball down the line. And Cruz on the run. It's a foul ball.
He retired 20 out of 22. And what was it against the Rangers? 27 out of 28?
Well, actually, I mean, he picked off the one guy that reached against him. He only faced 27 in that game. Look at Nelly Cruz going after the ball.
He gave up 3 base runners in that time and probably only a couple in this game. It's a pretty good streak he's on.
Let's see here. In terms of a batting average, opponents are 2 for their last 49 against Burley. Here's the 0-2 again to Burke. There's that ground ball, but it's foul. If nothing else, Millwood throwing just a heap of strikes. 50 of them, only 18 balls in this game.
Yeah, the problem is the cheap hits has kind of pushed his pitch total up a little bit high. You know, he's at 68 pitches right now. It's too bad because he's got good stuff. Best fastball he's had all year. His fastball in this inning's been as high as 94, 95 miles an hour.
Laird down to go get it. Millwood, I should say, the veteran, the ace of the staff, guy that won 16 games last year. Cannot put away Burke quite yet. The Rangers did have their strikeout pitches working yesterday as a unit. Certainly Robinson Tejeda did. And even out of the bullpen, the entire team striking out 9. That's a high total for the year. What an effort by Tejeda. Got him. 2 down. Burke caught looking twice in 2 innings.
Fastball outside corner. Burke saw it all the way, watched it all the way. A little bit upset.
Well, Ichiro, the batter, and of course throughout his career here in the United States, he's been known as a guy who produces with runners in scoring position in a major way. But here's a real surprise, Tom. Last year, his batting average with runners in scoring position, 228.
Boy.
Lacing that one, fair. That's the old Ichiro. Jumped on the very first pitch, and the ball gets away from Nelly Cruz. So 3 runs come in. Ichiro trots to third. That close to getting out of the inning and keeping it 1-0. But one swing from Ichiro, and it's 4-0. And Ichiro now a home run away from the cycle if indeed that scored a triple.
Curveball inside corner, but it stays up. And Ichiro, as he kind of pulls off the ball like that toward first base, kind of right in his wheelhouse, takes a carom by Cruz. I think that's going to be a triple all the way.
So a single, a double, and a triple all in the first 4 innings for noted Ranger killer Ichiro. Beltre, the batter.
Well, it's too bad. I mean, Kevin is battling this inning, a couple of cheap hits with good stuff, and ends up on the short end of a 4-0 game. But the stuff that he's thrown, the way he's pitched today, has been, I think, a lot better than the score would indicate.
Now Beltre is going to lift one to right field. Nelson Cruz backtracking. Has it scoped out, makes the catch, but boy, Ichiro getting it done as he usually does against the Rangers. The bases loaded triple, and it's 4-0 Seattle. Arlington, Texas tonight. The Mariners trying to break a losing streak of 6. Here's our Aflac trivia question. Tomorrow, the anniversary of what? What? This is when they began construction of the ballpark. Tag, April 24th, 1992. You probably had a ceremonial hard hat, big old pair of scissors.
No, I had
like
a good seat for it, though. I didn't have a hard hat. There were plenty of other people with hard hats on.
Did they put the ceremonial
shovel
in the ground? And
sure did. And our offices were, probably several hundred yards away, and we had a perfect view every day as you watched the progress of the stadium.
That's a nice place you got here, Tag.
Yep, kind of fun watching it being built. Beautiful ballpark.
Big lawn out back.
Yep. Very nice. Tom Schiefer did a great job.
It is still one of the prettiest ballparks in baseball.
Along with David Schwartz, the architect, he did a pretty nice job himself.
(1994) is when it opened. 1992 is when they started moving earth to get it ready. 0-2 to Mark Teixeira now. And Tex will take down and outside. Well, the Cowboy Stadium's making progress too, just down the road here.
Some big cranes they've got out there, boy.
Another pop up from Tex heading into the crowd. Another nice crowd here tonight. Some good crowds over the weekend. 37,000 plus yesterday. Had that big 43,000 crowd for the fireworks on Saturday night. With rain and 44 degrees in Cleveland on a Wednesday, I don't know if we're going to be seeing 44,000 in Cleveland. Another ball popped by Teixeira, and that's a long run. No play over there. The third baseman, Beltre, had been swung all the way around, part of the shift.
Well, the Rangers have a couple of soft hits coming to try to even things off in this game. Probably about 3 or 4 of them, really.
And that road trip coming up, by the way, it's 2 games in Cleveland, 4 in Toronto. And dress warm there, partner.
Well, I'm going to bring my Ranger jacket just like I did on the last trip.
Got him. Mark Teixeira hung in there for a while, but he is put away. 1 down, 4th inning. Sammy Sosa coming up next. Folks, the ultimate nightly highlight show has arrived. The FSN Final Score, the only national show giving you nothing but wall-to-wall highlights. If you want weather, you got to listen to our broadcast. It's going to be 45 and raining in Cleveland. It's going to be 5 in Toronto, Tom.
5?
Well, Celsius, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever it is in Toronto, I'm not too worried about it, because if it gets too bad, they'll put the roof up and we'll be fine. Cleveland, that could be a problem.
There's Sammy Sosa belting one in the center, a base hit for him.
That was almost a problem for Cha-Shun Beck. That line shot went right over his head.
Well, good to see Sammy sting the ball right there. He's now 1 for 2. We'll talk about this upcoming road trip, Tom. The ballpark in Cleveland, Jacobs Field, one of the very few places that Sammy's visited and has not homered. He has homered in 43 ballparks now. That is tied for a major league record with Ken Griffey Jr., but Jacobs Field has owned him. He is 5 for 36 lifetime at Jacobs Field with 5 singles. So he has yet to tame the Jacobs Field beast.
Well, he's going to get another opportunity. Go back there for 3 or 4 games, I think, later in the season.
Yeah, well, and if it rains for the 2 games coming up this week, we could be going back there for 6 games.
Yeah.
Blaylock a check swing. Progressive showing you the upcoming schedule of games. We mentioned a home game tomorrow. Hope you're making plans to come on out. And then, in theory, Wednesday at 6 p.m., Thursday morning. There's Blaylock driving one right field. Taking off to the corner. It is gone. Hank hitting his first of the year.
Right in the wedgie. I don't think Hank got all that ball, but he got enough of it to sneak it right in the triangle down the right field line.
Well, Blaylock had the game-winning single yesterday, a 2-run single. This is a 2-run homer, and the Rangers right back in it now.
That's a big home run. Give up 4, and at least you cut the deficit in half by getting 2 of your own in the bottom of the 4th. Good pitch by Beck. Looked like a cutter off the plate inside. It got in on the hands a little bit, but Hank is strong enough to muscle it right into that little pie-shaped section down the right field line. That's very nice.
Looked like it landed right on a table down there.
Yeah. Should have saved that one for when Norm Hitzges is out there. He's the one that nicknamed it the wedgie.
Right by that right field foul pole. Kinsler takes on the inside corner. I don't think we'll see Norm for a while, though. He's getting ready for the NFL draft.
Oh, yeah. He gets into that, boy.
Kinsler gets into that, drives it to center, but Ichiro shy of the track. And that is out number 2. Well, Blaylock has banked his first home run. Nelly Cruz unable to put it in the bank quite yet. That one for Sexton to at least look at, but it bounces out of play.
Yeah, Richie Sexton can reach a long way with those arms and that body. 6'8". Got to be quite a ways into the stands for him not to get it.
Basketball standout in high school, as you might imagine. Went to the 5-star basketball camp when he was 16. His roommate was Jason Kidd.
One of the windier nights at the ballpark this year.
Beck with the 0-2. That is down and in. That ball cranked left field. That'll get to the bottom of the wall, and Nelson Cruz will get into second base.
And Nelly Cruz kind of slowly but steadily is swinging the bat well, earning more and more playing time. I think you have to be happy with the way he's playing right now. Playing well in the outfield. He gets a good jump on the ball. He's got an excellent arm. And it's another ball that Beck got in on the fists. But Nelly is so strong, he muscled that to the base of the wall in left field. The one that Beck threw to Hank Blaylock was, I think, off the plate. And Hank was able to sneak it out down the right field line. So 2 pretty good pitches the Rangers have hit right there. One by Blaylock and one by Cruz.
Well, time for Gerald Laird to do something now, too. He's got a batting average that very closely resembles a fever right now. It's 102. And Gerald, obviously a much better hitter than that. When he was given the chance last year with the Rangers, Gerald did some real nice things. That is yet to materialize for him here in the regular season. He had a fairly strong spring training. Laird pops it towards left, but that'll be gloved for the final out of the inning. The Rangers do get 2 back on the Blaylock home run. 4-2 Seattle at the end of the 4th. And Cha Sung Beck hooking up as the pitching matchup tonight. Let's take time out. Brought to you by Corona Beer. Learn a little something about Kevin Millwood. I do know he loves that Toby Keith stuff. In fact, in celebration of the no-hitter that he threw for the Phillies a few years ago, that's what the Phillies got him as a memento. They got him an autographed Toby Keith guitar to commemorate the occasion. They gave his wife a 14-karat gold necklace with 9 zeros made out of diamonds, representing the 9 hitless innings. Well, the man with the most career hits against Kevin Millwood stands in there right now. Believe it or not, that is Jose Vidro. Millwood, of course, spending all those years in the NL East. So did Vidro as a Montreal Expos / Washington National.
That looks like a pitch that's going to give Vidro some problems. Of course, it'll give a lot of people problems. That 90-plus fastball right in on the fist.
Vidro, the Seattle DH this year. Brought in from that Nationals organization. He had spent 15 years, all 15 years of his pro career with that same organization. He goes from Washington, D.C. to Washington State. He is no longer a second baseman, though. His knees are lousy. Got a DH. Fighting that one down the third base line. Foul.
That's pretty much the same pitch. 91 miles an hour right in on the fist. And Vidro not even coming close to getting a good part of the bat on the ball. Having a hard time getting the head of the bat out.
That is Millwood's game when he is on. He's not afraid to challenge hitters at all. One thing the Braves really loved about him. And now on the outside corner, down goes Vidro.
That's a pretty tough combination of pitches. A couple of good fastballs right in on the fist, and then a backdoor cutter right on the outside corner. That pitch is going to strike out a lot of guys under the same circumstances. Watch the pitch before it. A fastball in, jammed him. You're aware of that pitch, and then the cutter right on the outside corner for strike 3.
When Millwood was with the Braves, I mean, people forget sometimes this guy, although in the shadow of the Glavins and the Smoltzes and the Maddoxes, he had some real good years. He owes one in here to Ibanez for a strike. Millwood, in fact, got a vote for first place in the Cy Young balloting back in 1999, finished 3rd overall. Now, earlier in the game, that would have been a base hit.
Yeah, maybe the fortune is turning right now. And Ibanez had one of them, too. He had the little ground ball to shortstop.
Millwood, even just a couple years ago, Tom, got a 3rd place vote for Cy Young the year that he led the league in ERA. You know, the last time a Ranger got even a mention from one writer for Cy Young, first place, 2nd, or 3rd, John Wetland in 1999. That's the season that Millwood got his one first place vote over in the National League. How many Cy Young awards did Cy Young win?
He didn't even win his own.
I know. Isn't that ridiculous? Actually, to reach Cy Young's records, somebody figured out a pitcher would have to turn in a 20-year average of 26 wins, 38 complete games a year, and 370 innings a year. So those are some records.
Fergie Jenkins couldn't even do that.
You talk about safe records in baseball. Cy Young's got a few of them. Win 26 games a year for 20 years.
Wouldn't you love to be able to get a time machine and transport Cy Young right into this ball game and see how he throws?
I would like to do that. I'd like to see Babe Ruth with those little short choppy strides running around the bases.
Yeah, the hitter I'd like to see is Babe Ruth. The pitcher I'd like to see is Walter Johnson.
That one's inside to Richie Sexson, 3-1. What would happen if you took a guy like Ichiro and put him in the time machine, went back to face the pitchers of 1908?
I say he hits about 450.
I agree. That one yanked foul by Sexton. So maybe we get that DeLorean, we build a time machine, get the 1.21 gigawatts all fired up, and they'd make a movie about it. The 3-2 to Sexton, and that missed. So Jose Guillen will come up with a chance now. 4-2 Seattle, our score here in the 5th. Again, Millwood went 5 innings in his last start, allowing 5 hits and 5 runs. Here's another guy that was with the Washington Nationals a year ago, Jose Guillen. Washington idle tonight, but the Phillies in action, leading Houston 7-4. Jimmy Rollins, his 7th home run.
Well, sooner or later, the Phillies are going to start playing some decent baseball. It hasn't happened for them yet.
Well, they got too much talent on that team.
Yeah, they're going to start playing better.
They've had a recent history of getting out of the gate real slow. In the air and hovering up there for a while. Kinsler makes the call, and a juggling one-hand catch. But it's all good. Millwood is out of the inning. We are halfway through. Seattle 4 and Texas 2. Texas Ranger Baseball on FSN Southwest, brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers and by Aflac Insurance. Along with Tom Grieve and our roving reporter Jim Knox, Josh Lewin here in Arlington. 4-2 Seattle.
That is a shallow outfield right now. Every one of them playing very shallow against Lofton. I don't think the ball is carrying real well to center field today, which might be one of the reasons they're so shallow.
Kenny Lofton will peel it to, well, shallow left field. Betancourt is back to make the catch. We've been talking about guys getting ready to finally get going here offensively. Frank Catalanato certainly showing signs of that, and he'll come up next. He didn't have a lot to show for it yesterday. He hit the ball hard 3 times, ended up with a double, and was out the other 2 times.
Well, Cat probably in the last week has hit 4 or 5 balls right on the nose that the first baseman has made for whatever team he's playing against.
Boy, that one down the line. There you go.
Speaking of first base.
Chasing in the corner is Guillen. Catalanato rumbles past second, going to go for 3. No relay throw, a triple for the Cat.
Once it got down in the corner and didn't carry him back to Guillen, that was going to be a triple. Catalanato can run. Guillen's got a great arm out in right field, but there's nothing he can do about it. The ball goes into the corner, sticks in the corner. Pretty good pitch, really, down and in. The Rangers' last few hits have all come on pretty tough pitches. Blaylock's home run, Cruz's double, and now the triple by Catalanato have all been pretty good pitchers' pitches. Just a nice job of hitting by the Ranger hitters.
I think that's huge. Catalanato taking that extra base, too, because now the pressure's off a little bit for Michael Young, right? I mean, you've got a runner at third and 1 out. Fly ball of any depth gets it done, and Michael has certainly been shooting balls to the outfield without a problem.
Yep. I think if anything, Michael's been a little bit over anxious. He's only walked a couple of times this year. He's not a guy that's going to walk a lot anyway. He's up there swinging the bat. Maybe a little bit more impatient than he normally would be. Wait it out, make sure you get a good pitch. You know he's going to drive the ball to right center field. Ichiro's playing him around that way. But with a man on third base and 1 out, fly ball to right would be something you'll take right now to get to within 4-3.
Mike's pretty much had all of his production in 1 game this year. He had a 2-homer, 4 RBI game. He's going to sizzle that one into center. There's an RBI. There is Michael Young making it 4-3.
Oh, there's a couple of guys hitting in the 160s. But with a triple and a single, they now make it a 4-3 game.
And 2 guys that you figure are going to be hitting 300 by the end of the year. They've done it before. Michael Young gets ahead 2-0 and then belts it into center. Now Teixeira coming up. The Rangers back to within a run.
Take 2 pitches, and the key is get a good pitch to hit. And Michael got a high pitch out over the plate. And that's a pitch he'll hit pretty hard almost every time. I'm going to make the call right here.
Well, only because you beat me to it, partner. I'm thinking,
well,
thinking along with
you. You can double up.
You want to double down?
Yeah, make it a double call.
All right. The rare double downing. Mark Teixeira, here he is, game number 19, doesn't have a home run yet. Slugging percentage around 260. But Manny Ramirez also around 260. Gary Sheffield's slugging percentage is 120. And the guys we just rattled off, I mean, those are guys you figure are going to be at or near the top in slugging percentage, home runs, runs batted in. His last home run was against the guy that Cha Sung Beck is replacing in the rotation tonight. So by the associative property, maybe a good sign. That one called on the corner, 1-2.
Well, that's the same pitch he called on Vidro. And it may have been a few inches outside.
Wow.
In fact, that was more than a few inches outside.
The
arrow had to point to that one. But I think the same pitch was called on Vidro too.
Tex lays off. And one thing about Tex, at least he's not taking the bait on the breaking stuff down and out of the zone a lot. That was the problem about a week and a half ago. Tex with a base hit, beating the shifts, nails it into right center.
That's the way to beat the shift. Hit the ball so hard that they can't take a couple of steps to go field it.
That's what you were talking about with Ted Williams.
That's what Ted Williams did. You hit the ball on the good part of the bat. The only way they can get you out is if you hit it right straight to him. That ball was not that far away, but it was hit so hard the infielder couldn't react to it. Rangers starting to get to Beck a little bit right here. The pitch to Michael Young was up. That pitch is up, and both balls hit very hard.
Rafael Chavez, the pitching coach, will come on out. And it looks like Seattle, for the first time, will ponder getting the bullpen going. Beck is at 72 pitches right now. Folks, you can bring the whole family to a ball game with the Coca-Cola Rangers Family Pack. Get 4 tickets, 4 Hebrew National hot dogs, 4 soft drinks, all for just $60. 972 Rangers. How to get that done, or visit TexasRangers.com. The rally stuffed animal. Oh, it's Sammy Sosa coming up. There's a lot of discussion now, a lot of thought process, I'm sure, about how to go after Sammy. There's a lot of room in left center for him, somewhat surprisingly, although I guess the scouting report does say Sammy's been hitting the ball a lot to right field of late. He will take a strike.
It feels like a day where it's going to be tough to hit the ball out of the ballpark in center field. Not one of those days where the jet stream's going out to center. It might go out to right pretty good, but left center and center might be a different story. Yeah, Beck's not quite as sharp today as he has been in the past against the Rangers. Last year he had a couple of outstanding starts against the Rangers where he was pinpoint as long as he was in the ball game. But today he's missing a little bit. He's either out of the strike zone or up in the strike zone when he throws a strike. And the Rangers are starting to get to him a little bit right here.
Again, Seattle has lost 6 in a row. Brandon Morrow getting ready, while Brendan Morrow is in action for the Dallas Stars. No score, by the way, in Game 7. Very best of luck to the Stars tonight. Sosa pegged a single up the middle last inning.
Looking down in the owner's box, Mr. Hicks is down there trying to watch our game and the Stars game. He's got to be really nervous tonight, trying to watch 2 of his teams play.
He's watching right now in a little bit in Vancouver, and quite a bit live right here.
There's the hockey game down there.
Stars just went up on total in that game.
Well, he's feeling pretty good about that. He'll really jump out of his seat if Sammy can hit one right here.
Yeah, the Stars just taking a lead. Maybe right now, minutes later, the Rangers take a lead. And the confetti flies in the owner's box. Just off the plate. Blaylock on deck.
He's got to throw him a strike right here. Hank is swinging the bat well right now. He had a big hit last night. He had a big hit in this game. Left-hand hitter coming up. He got a power hitter at the plate, but he needs to throw him a strike right here.
Sammy with a base hit. Young speeds around third. He's coming in. This game is tied.
Sammy waited him out, pretty much just like Michael Young, just like Mark Teixeira. They waited him out. They waited for a good pitch. He got a pitch up in the strike zone, and all three of them hit the ball hard. Cat started it with a triple. Sammy gets a fastball out over the plate, and just like the high pitch to Michael Young's not going to get him out very often, that pitch out over the plate to Sammy's not going to get him out very often either. The Rangers coming back from a 4-0 deficit in the last 2 innings.
Took him a while, but eventually, with apologies to the Beatles, they get Beck. He is gone, and the Rangers will be facing the young Mr. Morrow in just a moment. It is now a 4-4 game here in the 5th inning. We'll be right back here in Arlington. Now here in the 5th. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Rangers may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Texas Rangers Baseball Club. Cha-Sung Beck had owned the Rangers 3-0 with an ERA of 0.8. But the Rangers get to him here. 2 in the 4th and 2 in the 5th, and they're still going at it here in the 5th. They have summoned Brandon Morrow, one-time first-round pick, and a guy off to a bit of a rocky start here in 2007.
Yeah, he's got a great arm, no doubt about that. Not a lot of experience yet at the professional level, though.
Only time he has faced Blaylock. Blaylock lined a single against him, and here's Hank with 2 on, 1 out. And Hank, his last time up, with a home run. And trying to double down, but he fouls it out of play.
That's a pretty good heat, 97 miles an hour.
As a third baseman, only Dean Palmer more home runs than Hank in a Ranger uniform. That one getting away from Jamie Burke. That is a huge break. Now 2nd and 3rd. And a fly ball of any depth will give the Rangers the lead. A single might make it 6-4.
And depending on where Mike Hargrove plays the infield fairly early in the game with men on 2nd and 3rd, maybe a ground ball brings him in too.
Yep.
And the other thing that'll bring him in is another wild pitch. He's going to play the infield in right here. He just threw that ball right by the catcher. A little blooper will score him. Got the infield way in. Tough for them to get back on a little blooper.
No, and I mean, the other thing you can do is put him on, but you do that, you're pitching to Ian Kinsler, a guy with 7 home runs. They are going to put on Hank, make it righty versus righty. Morrow against Kinsler.
And probably a good percentage move, only because it does set up a double play, and Hank is swinging the bat pretty well right now. But the other thing it does is it opens the possibility for the bases loaded walk too. It puts a lot more pressure on the pitcher right now to throw a strike to Ian.
Ian with 4 home runs his last 29 at bats against his Seattle team. And again for the year, 7 home runs, 3rd in the league. Strike one.
Well, 99 miles an hour on our gun, 96 on the stadium gun.
Either way, that's some cheese.
That is some heat.
Well, Kinsler has seen it now once. Will he see another fastball right here? Yep, but it missed. The league is beginning to recognize Ian Kinsler can turn on a fastball with the best of them. But Morrow has thrown him a couple here. Now the slider, and the count goes to 2-1.
That gets a lot of hitters to swing, but we've talked about Ian all season long. He can lay off that pitch really well for a young player who also has to gear up to hit a mid-90s fastball. This kid throws hard, which makes it harder to lay off that slider away.
That one rammed in there, though, to make it 2-2.
Gets it out in a hurry. Tough pitch to hit. Right at the knees, somewhere around the outside corner.
And Ian, that one registering 101 on our gun.
97 on the stadium gun.
Well, if you want to go halvesies on it, 99, that's plenty.
Well, it's somewhere between 97 and 101. That's a great fastball. You know, Ian's a guy that doesn't strike out very much, that makes contact. You throw the ball by him, you got to be throwing pretty hard, or throw it to a really good spot.
That one barely missing to Nelson Cruz. Nelly with a double last inning. Well, again, one gun at 100, the other one at 97. And again, we say either way, that is a tough pitch to hit. It's not as straight as a string, 97 to 100 either. It looks like it tails a little bit.
You definitely got to tune it up quick to hit this guy.
You can see why he was a first-round pick.
You know, there was a guy that you announced for that threw 101, 102, and
Matt Anderson
had a hard time getting people out. So, you know, a lot depends on the delivery and the deception and how well you can pick the ball up. When you've got a little bit of that and 100 miles an hour, you got a pretty lethal combination for a hitter.
Yeah, you sure do. You got to tip your hat not only to the pitching of Morrow, but the move made by Hargrove, walking Blaylock to get it to Kinsler and Cruz. They both strike out, and it stays 4-4. 4-4 here as the Rangers try to improve to 9-10 for the year. Down on the farm, check it out courtesy of Jack in the Box. The Rangers AA team in Frisco already with 10 wins. And Eric Hurley, very outstanding prospect, off to a 1.96 start for his ERA. San Antonio used to be hooked up with these Seattle Mariners as their affiliation. Now they're the Padres. Millwood still on the mound. Will face Yuniesky Betancourt. The Rangers have worked hard to get 2 back in the 4th and 2 back in the 5th for Millwood. But what a shame they couldn't get more than that tag. They had the bases loaded, 1 out last inning, and could not break the tie.
You got to give a lot of the credit to Morrow, who just came in and threw probably as good a fastball as we've seen all year. Not just counting velocity, but counting the effect that it had on the hitters. Hitters just didn't have a prayer. He just threw the ball right by him.
Little pop up right center. Kenny Lofton and Nelly Cruz both there. It's Cruz who will take care of that one down. Pitch count for Millwood up very slightly over 90 now, and Ron Mayhay getting busy in the bullpen. Looks like the kind of night where Millwood might give the team 6 innings.
Yeah, I think Mayhay's up in case Ichiro comes to bat this inning, and depending on what the circumstances are, Ron would have the option of bringing in Mayhay.
On the out-of-town scoreboard, Toronto leading Boston 5-3 in the 9th at Fenway. Red Sox off to a real good start. They're 12-5. Ground ball this time. Michael Young's got to hurry. He'll fling it across. He got him. Lopez.
Seen a lot of infield hits, and Lopez has one of them. Michael wasn't taking any chances that time. That's a nice play. You can't lay back on that play. You just don't have time to make the play. You have to charge it, and you can't get a lot on the throw, but you compensate by getting rid of it so quickly and being accurate with the throw. The Mariners have had at least 3 slowly hit infield hits. Cost Kevin a lot of pitches and 4 runs in the 4th inning.
Yeah, Michael making sure that wouldn't be a 4th such hit. A couple other scores here, Tag. A pair of home runs for Nick Swisher. The A's lead the O's in Baltimore 6-4 in the 9th inning. That's a wacky 2-game road trip to Baltimore from the Metroplex and back on to Oakland for the A's.
I'm looking at Seattle's schedule. Seattle comes to Texas for 2. They've been to Anaheim for 3, right. Texas for 2, Oakland for 2. 3 cities in 7 days. Just really a chopped up schedule this year.
That's what Mike Hargrove thinks about it. Down and outside here to Burke.
Seattle's not going to love a schedule no matter what it is from where they have to come from.
Right. Geographically, they're up against it.
Yep.
They travel about 50 to 55,000 miles in the air a year. Most other teams travel anywhere between 25 and say 37,000 a year.
Yeah, they're almost double some teams.
Well, they ought to move Seattle then. There's a little looper behind Michael Young, and the number 9 man, Jamie Burke.
Well, I got enough cheap hits to last a week tonight.
Burke had taken a couple of called third strikes earlier in the game, but now he lifts that one out into the outfield, and Ichiro's coming up. Now, on the one hand, I guess this is where you could make the move, go lefty-lefty, but it's a 4-4 game, and for Millwood to be eligible for the win, he's still got to be on the mound at the end of this inning.
And Ron's got a decision to make, and I think beyond giving a pitcher a chance to get a win, what he's saying right here is Kevin Millwood's our ace, and our ace stacked up against their best hitter. That's a matchup we're going to look at tonight. I'm going to leave him in there. I'm going to challenge him. Go past 100 pitches. Get this out with the game on the line. It's tough to go out and take your best pitcher out under these circumstances. Now, if there's nobody out and the bases loaded, that's a different story.
Whoa,
what a play.
Great play on pitch number 100 of Millwood's night.
No chance to get Ichiro, that's for sure.
Ron Washington's confidence rewarded. Millwood makes the pitch, Young makes the play, and it stays 4-4. Or Mika Maddox of Mansfield. That's a lot of M's right there. If a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, we're giving away $25,000. And the Rangers and the M's are tied tonight 4-4 here in the 6th inning. First of 2 against Seattle. And the Rangers head off on the road. Day game tomorrow, don't forget, 105.
Thank you for the reminder.
I didn't want you to.
Sure would hate to be out on the practice range tomorrow about 1 o'clock and have someone tune on the game.
Yes, and I'm doing the game with our stat man Fritz Steichert while Tag is hitting golf balls.
I'll be there by the 4th.
All right. I'll do what you got to do. But 105 for the rest of us tomorrow. That is down too low to Laird. The count 2-0 as Gerald tries to kickstart his season here. Again, that batting average just not there for him. He's 5 for 50 now. It's 100 right on the button. But he is in a very advantageous count now, 2-0.
Good spot to take a pitch right there. Tie game. Having a hard time getting your base hits. Make them throw strikes. Take a pitch. Get another good look at it. You've seen 3 fastballs right now. Doesn't make it easy to hit, but it's a little bit easier after seeing him. Good swing at a high fastball, 95 miles an hour.
Up into a crowd of a little less than 27,000 tonight. Real nice crowd on a Monday night. up against the Stars game. They're winning 1-0 with the Stars in Vancouver tonight. We'll keep you posted on that. Laird in the air, left center field. It goes into that alley, and Ichiro, Kelly Leak style, saying, I know you're in left field, but I'd like to be in left field. I'll go get that. One down. We go to Jim Knox.
All right, close one right there. Gerald's going to get one. Brian Rubenstein right here. He is with the Miracle League, a coach of the Miracle League, a great organization. They have something like 500 kids out here tonight, and this is a great organization that the Rangers are a big part of, Brian.
Yes, the Rangers actually have sponsored our field over in Arlington, not too far from the stadium. And the field itself is made for kids with any disabilities to be able to play. It's a hard rubber playing surface so that wheelchairs and walkers and things like that can get across it.
Outstanding field, and one of the Miracle League players. This is Steven. What position you play, Steven?
Shortstop.
Shortstop. Best player on the team, huh?
Yes.
Okay, good enough. I bet you are. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you for the time. Josh?
That's a great operation. Thank you, Jim. Something I know near and dear to your heart, Mr. Grieve.
Yeah, my wife has been one of the coaches on the team. She just loves it.
Well, there's a towering fly ball from Kenny Lofton.
He just missed that one. He got a good fastball and had a great swing at it. He just barely got underneath it. Otherwise, that would have been right down the line for maybe a go-ahead run. Inside pitch, too. He turned on it. Didn't get in his kitchen. He hit it on the good part of the bat.
Were you in the kitchen today? Did you bring your dinner tonight?
No, I went into the press dining room
Oh,
tonight.
you did? Okay.
I did not bring my own tonight.
I didn't dine with you, so that's why I thought maybe you went off the board and
No,
brought your own tonight.
I was on the board tonight. There was a rumor we were having turkey tonight. And they did, and it was very good.
2 strikes to count to Catalinato. You'll be gathering up the hummus in Cleveland, though, eh?
I don't know. Cleveland used to have a good press dining room. It's gone downhill the last couple of years, though.
Catalinato serving one left field, and sliding up after that ball is Ibanez, and he picks it clean. Tough break.
Another well-hit ball by Cat that's turned into an out.
So here we are at the end of 6, tied at 4-4. Ball brought to you by Southwest Airlines and by Corona. 4 runs, 8 hits for both teams right now as we get to the back third of the ball game. And this crowd of 26,592 watching on a Monday night, live and in person. Hope you can come on out, bring some buddies tomorrow. Rangers and the Seattle Mariners at 1:05.
This might be a case where Kevin goes out to face Beltre, and then with Vidro and Ibanez coming up, he goes to the lefty. Kevin's at 102 pitches now.
I think that's definitely the move if Beltre gets on, although I don't know. I mean, you're probably right, but it's possible, I suppose, too, if Millwood looks great taking care of Beltre, maybe he keeps on going.
I mean, it's a decision Ron will have to make, but
unfortunately, Beltre is going to lead off with a base hit. And Millwood now with that pitch count in the low 100s. And it is Vidro coming up, and it is decision time for Ron Washington.
Well, Ron has said on many occasions he wants to push his starters. He wants them to go as deep in the game as they can go. And he's thinking about it. He's looking at the matchups. Probably likes the way Kevin has pitched to Vidro tonight. He's gotten him out 3 times, including a strikeout.
This time Vidro's bunting, and again in the past Vidro does have success against Millwood. More hits than anybody among active players, 21 of them. But Vidro has not hit a ball out of the infield tonight. Let's check the Rangers roster move if you haven't heard. Talking about that Ranger bullpen with Gagne on the DL now. Back to the big leagues comes Frankie Francisco.
There won't be many times where the 3rd place hitter in a big league lineup in the American League or the National League for that matter is going to sacrifice bunt. 4-4
game though, and Vidro, who again has not been able to get the ball out of the infield, being called on to do just that, as indeed we welcome back Frankie Francisco.
Frankie had some pretty impressive numbers in AAA. A lot of strikeouts.
Again, the Mariners only one stolen base all year. Beltre takes that lead. I'm talking about Gagne being on the DL, Tom. Our Geico quote. That is quite a quote. And officially, it's a strained hip muscle, upper hip. Gagne says, call it what it is. Runner goes. And hit and run. Base hit. It parachutes into center. Lofton up with it, no play at third. And Vidro wins out. He couldn't get the bunt down. He does even better.
Gets another cheap jam shot to center field.
Well, Seattle threatening big time to take the lead now. First and third. And nobody out. So, yeah, Millwood left out there to keep on getting at it. But now you're looking at runners at the corners, nobody out. And you need some big time performance from that bullpen. Mayhay will be summoned in what is for now a 4-4 game here in the 7th inning. By Dodge, your Texas truck stop. Mike's got an RBI hit tonight. And you got to hope that Raul Ibanez doesn't come up with one of those now. Kevin Millwood chased out of the game when Vidro singled. Ron Mayhay has always owned Raul Ibanez, and the hope now is he can keep on doing that. With runners at first and third and nobody out. Ground ball. Kinsler drops it, recovers. Seattle takes the lead. The Rangers get an out. Ibanez now 1 for 14 against Mayhay, but that out is a very productive out. Makes it a 5-4 game and moves the runner from first. So now Millwood cannot win the game. He can only lose it.
Ian was hoping to be able to get one at second, but it was going to be very tough to do that and spin and throw. But he made a nice play on it and got the out at first.
One pitch and that's it. Mayhay was out there to take care of Ibanez, and he did. Now Feldman coming on to face Sexton and Guillen, etc. 5-4 Seattle here in the 7th inning. Come right back. Junior Rangers Club. You get ticket vouchers, a lunch bag, cap, monthly gifts, all kinds of cool stuff. To sign up, just visit TexasRangers.com. Rangers in action against Seattle tonight. And it battled back from down 4-0 to tie it up, and now trailing 5-4. They're going to get Scott Feldman in the game. And Feldman into his 8th game already. Runner at second, one out. He's got to take on Richie Sexton. A 6'8" power threat. Well, that's exactly what Ron Washington said he loved about Feldman in spring training. Go after the right-handed hitters right under their hands. The Rangers won one of these nip and tuck kind of games yesterday, 4-3. It's another thing Ron Washington kept saying in spring training is I love those 4-3 games that you win, and he got one yesterday. Goodness knows there have been a lot of 12-9 kind of games over the years around here.
The Rangers had some well pitched games the last couple of days. Cam Lowe, Robinson Tejeda. Kevin pitched well today too. He's going to end up giving up 5 runs, maybe 6, depending on what happens right here. But he had good stuff. Probably had his best fastball of the season today.
Out there to see what happens next. Feldman on for Mayhay, who came on for Millwood. Sexton originally Cleveland Indians property. That's the Rangers' next assignment when they get done with this Seattle team, is to go on to Cleveland. And a reminder coming up in just a bit, our Toyota truck game break. Cleveland and Minnesota tied 3-3 tonight. Victor Martinez and Torrey Hunter have traded home runs. Tigers are leading the Angels 1-0. That game just getting going with a Curtis Granderson leadoff home run. The White Sox leading Kansas City 5-3 in the 8th. Paul Konerko a pair of home runs in support of Mark Burley.
Looks like Baltimore's making a comeback on Oakland in that game too.
Sexton stays alive. Yeah, Baltimore had trailed 5-0, and their rally comes up just short. Tag 6-5. Oakland wins it. Yep. So that makes the A's 10-9. The Rangers record coming in, we mentioned, was 8-10. Two other teams came in it tonight at 8-10. One is Toronto. The other one, last year's World Series champions, the St. Louis Cardinals. But Sexton not easy to finish off here.
He's having a hard time getting a good piece of those sinkers that Scott's throwing up there. He's ticking them top of the ball, but they've got some pretty good movement on him. He hasn't been able to connect with one.
Looking at the teams that have played 600 ball or better, Tom, it's Boston. You'd expect that. Atlanta and the Mets, the Dodgers, but also Milwaukee and Baltimore. We're going to have to do it again here. Feldman and Sexton, quite a little battle in a 5-4 game. Well, the Phillies took out a season's worth of frustrations on the Astros tonight. 20 hits for Philly. And they beat Houston 11-4. Biggio, though, a home run for Houston, getting closer to 3,000 hits. Now Laird finally growing tired, is going to head out there and talk to Feldman. Those guys trying to get together on the signs. Florida beat Atlanta 8-7. Dontrell Willis becoming the first 4-game winner in the National League. Dan Uggla, who had a couple of home runs yesterday, another home run tonight. Cubs leading Milwaukee 4-2 in the 7th. And the Mets beat Colorado tonight 6-1. Finally, Carlos Delgado hits his first home run. Let's see if finally Feldman can finish off Sexton. This has been about a 4-minute at bat. Nope, inside. Jose Guillen next. Tampa Bay's lead on the Yankees now 10-6. Right here, 5-4 Seattle. Sexton has struck out, fouled out, and walked in this game. Normally he doesn't make enough contact time to hang around for 11 pitches, but
he's just barely making it.
When Feldman taking his time trying to figure this out. Sexton keeps stepping out.
They threw him a slider right there that Sexton had a good swing at, but fouled it off.
Here we go again. Tagged, caught by Blaylock.
That was as hard as you could possibly hit a line drive. I'd love to know what the velocity on that was. That's Sexton with tremendous power, making perfect contact with the ball and hitting it right straight at Hank Blaylock. Well, you don't have a whole lot of time to react to a ball hit that hard.
Boy, in slow motion, that's a pellet.
Boy. Well, he was having a hard time making contact. He didn't have much of a hard time that time. Fortunately, he didn't get a base hit.
Now, if there's any justice, one pitch and done here for Feldman and Guillen. 1 ball, no strikes. The inning started with a couple of singles, then a ground out to score a run. Remember, Mayhay came on to face just the 1 batter, retired him on 1 pitch. It took Feldman a dozen pitches to get Sexton, but he got him. There's a strike. The Rangers in the bottom of the 7th will have the meat of the order up. They'll have Young, Teixeira, and Sosa. Good pitch right there. Grounded easily to Kinsler. Fires to Tex. Inning over. 7th inning stretch. Mariners on top by 1 as we send it to our studio now for the Toyota Truck Game Break. Here's your game summary if you're just joining us. Ichiro, a home run shy of the cycle right now. The home run he does not have, Hank Blaylock does have. A 2-run shot. His very first home run of the year. 5-4 Seattle. And Michael Young batting. Michael takes a strike. And Michael had seen his slump bottom out at 2 for 34, Tom, before that RBI single in the 5th inning.
Now, there's going to be a whole lot of hits for Michael for the rest of this season. He'd never been 2 for 32 before. Probably never happen again either.
Sprays that one foul. The Rangers will have one problem coming back in this game over the next couple innings. That's the fact that Brandon Morrow is throwing really well for Seattle. Remember, he pitched out of that bases loaded 1-out jam in the 5th, striking out Kinsler and Cruz. Kevin Millwood allowing the 5 runs tonight. 2nd straight game in which he's allowed the 5 runs. But the Rangers trying to rally, get him a no decision. In on Michael Young. Betancourt will fire, and Michael is out. Tough to get it by this middle infield. Betancourt and Lopez are pretty solid.
Yeah, and you can go all the way around the infield. Sexton catches whatever he can get to, but Beltre is outstanding at third base. Eric Chavez is the Gold Glove winner, but he's not a whole lot better than that kid right there. He's got a great glove, good arm.
Ball 1 to Mark Teixeira, and Mark Teixeira, though he's still without a home run and only has a couple of doubles, well, he's starting to really sting the ball. He had that hard single in the 5th inning tonight. Lifting that one into left center. Ichiro on the gallop. And we'll catch it off to the side. Route number 2. Well, if you like power versus power, you got Morrow, who's throwing upper 90s. And he's going to be taking on Sammy Sosa right now.
Those are one of the few sliders he's thrown in the game. He's thrown almost all fastballs, thrown a few sliders. Started Sammy out with one right there. Another one.
Yep. One was high and one was in, and now it is 2-0. Sammy's sitting on 592 career home runs. That one is towards right. Guillen on the march to put it away. So the Rangers had that 3-4-5 part of the order up, but could not dent the scoreboard. It stays 5-4 Seattle. Two out of 3 from the Rangers in Seattle about a week and a half ago. Tonight, though, 5-4 Mariners as we play ball in the top of the 8th inning. Nice crowd on a nice night. Don't forget the same 2 teams have at it tomorrow. 1:05 first pitch. Seattle hasn't won a lot of games here at this ballpark. They have their last 20 games here, Tag. They've only won 6 of them. But they're ahead right now 5-4. Feldman to Betancourt, strike 1. We had mentioned earlier, Seattle, one of only 2 teams in baseball without a save yet this year, but this does set up for J.J. Putz right now. 1-run lead in the 8th inning. Wow. Awkward looking swing right there from Betancourt.
Ball just ate him up.
Rangers have gone through Millwood, Mayhay, and now Feldman out there on the mound tonight. Again, one adjustment in that bullpen with Gagne on the DL. Frankie Francisco back up. Bottom third of the Seattle order here in the top of the 8th. And Betancourt again, a little twist and shout up there at the plate. Frankie Francisco still throws hard, even after the arm surgery. Mid-90s. Not working on the gyro ball, though.
That we know of.
That we know of. Only C.J. Wilson doing that. 2-2 the count. There's the gyro baller. The bright blue glove. The Wilson glove for C.J. Wilson. Betancourt lifting it to left. Catalanato backing over a piece. Catalanato locks it up. He's had a triple tonight, too. Well, Scott Feldman, you know, we talked earlier this year, Tom, about how it took Feldman 47 games with the Rangers to get his first win. Willie Air got into his very first game yesterday, and he won that one right away. He won his Ranger debut. Took Brian Schaus 72 Ranger games, took Feldman 47, took Willie Air 1. That one a little bit low to Lopez.
Well, to get a win as a middle reliever, you have to, number one, come in, do the job, get the other team out, and then hope that your team scores while you're in there. If they're already ahead when you get in there, you're probably not going to get the win unless the starter didn't go 5 innings. For instance, if Feldman finishes this inning, he'll get the win if the Rangers score 2 in the bottom of the 8th.
Yes, as much when you pitch is how you pitch a lot of times on that. Ask Phil Regan about that, the vulture, right?
Yeah.
16-1 that year with the Dodgers. Lopez, an all-star last year for Seattle.
The other way you can get a win as a reliever is come in with a 1-run lead, give up a run, and then have your team score. So you get a blown save and a win.
That's why Coco Cordero had 3 wins at this time last year.
That's right.
Cordero's having a pretty nice go of it in Milwaukee right now. He's got 7 saves for Milwaukee.
He had one of those saves yesterday or the day before. 30 pitches, 2 walks and a single, bases loaded, got out of a bases loaded jam.
That's our Coco. The Mitch Williams special right there. Toronto has defeated Boston 7-3. That has gone final. Tim Wakefield took the loss. And yeah, Oakland hanging on to beat Baltimore 6-5. Feldman and Laird took a while to get together on the sign right there, and then Feldman just kind of flipped it into the dirt. It is 2-2.
Well, it shouldn't be too difficult. There's no one on second base. It's
right.
Only one sign. Scott throws mostly sinkers, sliders, an occasional changeup.
That one boring right in on Lopez, but he had a piece of it.
Lopez made the all-star team last year.
He earned it. He had a very strong first half. There you see Feldman and Laird trying to get together. Reaches out, pokes it to right, and down for another base hit. That's kind of an end of the bat base hit for Lopez. He's been on base 3 times tonight. I don't think you can say he's smashed any of those base hits, but he's 3 for 4.
Yeah, that was a pretty good job of hitting there. Fight off the sinkers, and then hit a pretty good pitch, line it out to right field. Scott was trying to sink that ball in on the fist. Instead, it kind of straightened out and stayed in the outside corner. He was able to reach out and just kind of stroke it lightly into right field.
Brings up the catcher Jamie Burke, who spent last year with the Rangers AAA team in Oklahoma City. That Oklahoma shuttle last year was something. The Oklahoma Redhawks endured 184 player moves last year.
Wow.
No Oklahoma player played more than 125 games last year. They used 13 left fielders. They used 11 third basemen and 37 pitchers. So, I mean, that's the nature of AAA ball, right? I mean, people are coming and going.
Pretty tough to come out with a scorecard in Oklahoma City last year.
Well, Burke was one of the most consistent performers for them. Talk about all the turnover, but he was there all year. He played very well. Ground ball, second base. Thank you, Mr. Burke. 4, 6, 3, double play. Feldman out of the inning. Rangers coming to bat, bottom 8. And to their credit, they raced out to a 4-0 lead. The Rangers rallied with 2 in the 4th and then 2 in the 5th when they strung together 4 hits in a row. Good to see Michael Young contributing. Seattle, though, up now 5-4 as we get to the bottom of the 8th inning. A man who has already homered tonight is at the plate, Hank Blaylock. He's up in the count 1-0. Stars in Vancouver now tied, by the way, 1-1. Rangers hoping to tie Seattle right here. Both of Tom Hicks's teams are battling opponents from the Pacific Northwest tonight. Game 7 of that NHL series. This is, well, game 19 of 162 for the Rangers this year. Blaylock hits it very high, shallow right. And the wind kind of hangs it up there for Lopez. 1 down.
It's been a pretty impressive performance by Morrow. He threw a wild pitch and then intentionally walked Blaylock. Since that time, he's retired 9 straight batters.
Well, I think the most impressive thing he did was getting Kinsler down on strikes. Look at Putz and Sherrill in the Mariners bullpen. Kinsler up at the plate right now.
He struck out Ian, 1 out, bases loaded.
We had mentioned on the broadcast yesterday, Ian, one of the best in baseball. He swings and misses only about 7% of the time. That is, when he swings, 93% of the time he's making contact of some sort. But of all times to get him in that 7%, it was with the bases loaded and 2 strikes on him. That kept the game 4-4. Kinsler right down the line, but foul. Kinsler still second in the league in home runs, but he has now been doubled. A-Rod, another one.
Oh, no.
14. And that ties the all-time Major League record for most in the month of April. It is an American League record.
Another week left in April.
I know.
It's amazing.
Any chance it'll have cooled off by May 2nd, because that's when the Yankees are coming in?
Well, logic tells you can't get any hotter.
Actually, May 1st is the first Yankee game. There are tickets available for that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday series. 972 Rangers, the number to call. As the Yankees and the Blue Jays come in. Kinsler pokes it out of play. There's that number right there on your screen, 972 Rangers. Well, if A-Rod's got 2 tonight, let's see if Kinsler can get 1. Going for it, but he fouls it. And it stays 2-2. Here's what we're talking about. A-Rod and Albert Pujols the last couple of years. Griffey did it for these Mariners in '97, 13. Little tapper right side. Lopez can't get it. It squeaks by him. And the Rangers, well, they've got that tying man on. They got the go-ahead man up. Remember, the 8th inning is when they made it happen yesterday. J.J. Putz is the closer. And normally you'd wait until the 9th inning to get him in the game.
I think Seattle's a team that's lost 6 straight. May go whatever they have to do tonight to win a ball game.
Pitching coach Rafael Chavez out to the mound.
Morrow's still throwing the ball well. He's
yeah.
not throwing 100 miles an hour like he did the first couple of batters he faced, but it's still mid-90s. He's had a hard time. In fact, I don't think he's thrown a slider for a strike all night. So you can pretty much go up there and look fastball. The problem is he's got a great fastball tonight.
With 1 out here, Tag, do you think about running with Kinsler?
Yeah, you know, I kind of go back to what I've said on that with Ron Washington. I think most of the runners have the green light, which means get a good lead, and if you feel like you can get a good jump and steal it, you're on your own. But don't go just for the sake of trying to steal a base. Make sure you feel like you can get a good jump. And I think under those circumstances that Ian would be free to go right here.
Cruz arcs it foul. Gerald Laird on deck. Well, the Rangers had that great chance in the 5th inning. Already with 2 runs in. Cruz, the guy that struck out to end the inning with the bases loaded. And he pops this one up right up in the back of the plate here for Burke, and he's got it.
Threw that slider for a strike and got it out with it.
Well, Gerald Laird wanting so badly to contribute as he has bottomed out at 1 for his last 34. And the batting average now is dipped even below the 100 mark. See if he can get something done. Here's Cruz. That's the pitch right before the out.
That's a good fastball on the outside corner. And that's a slider on the outside corner. It's a little bit in front of it. Popped it up. Gerald hit the ball pretty well his last time up against Morrow. Flied out fairly deep left center field.
No sign of Kinsler going yet. And Laird has the count squarely in his favor now, 2-0.
They've got a lefty warmed up in the bullpen who will probably come in and face Lofton if he does walk Gerald Laird.
That is George Sherrill out there. Kinsler's going this time. Burke is going to throw. It's high, and Kinsler steals the base, which takes some pressure off of Laird. All you do now is chip a single somewhere. You're going to tie the game. Well, the Rangers with 4 steals yesterday. There's Kinsler getting one. And 3-0 the count to Laird. They'll take all the way 3-1. He walked him, which could be the last act for Mr. Morrow. You got the veteran Kenny Lofton due up. You do have pinch hitting options if you want to use them, but Kenny's been swinging such a hot bat. be an interesting decision for Ron Washington where to go with this. George Sherrill in a 5-4 game. Or will it be O'Flaherty? Is he making the change? Is he bringing in the closer?
That's a right-hander. That's not Sherrill. That's Putz.
Yeah, that's going to be Putz.
Sherrill was warming up, and you would think with a lefty warming up that he'd bring in the lefty, but he went to the closer.
Here he comes. Wish the Blaze, whether that was a fire in the 7th inning, the 8th inning, the 9th inning. These days it's mostly just the 9th inning, but sometimes there's more than a flickering ember in the 8th inning, and that's what's happening here. 2 on, 2 out. J.J. Putz, the closer, facing Kenny Lofton.
No relief from the heat, that's for sure. Morrow was 94 to whatever. The upper reaches of the 90 spectrum. And the first pitch from Putz, 96, 98, depending on which radar gun you want to read.
Lofton's never had a hit against Putz. He's going to send this one in the air to left. And it looks like the move has paid off, as it is gloved out there by Ibanez, and the Rangers strand 2 here in the 8th inning. It stays 5-4. Of the Rangers, visit Southwest.com. By Progressive for a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Bold moves. Ford is the best in Texas. On that NHL scoreboard, it's a 1-1 tie, Game 7. As the team from the Metroplex takes on a team from the Pacific Northwest. You got Pacific Northwest against a team from the Metroplex in baseball tonight as well. The Rangers are hoping for a tie. Right now they trail by 1, 5-4. We're in the 9th inning, and C.J. Wilson comes on. Ichiro, Beltre, and Vidro, the batters. Top third of the order.
C.J.'s been throwing hard the last 2 times he's appeared. That one 96 miles an hour on our gun, 94 on the stadium gun.
Ichiro, a homer away from the cycle, will take down 2 low. Millwood, Mayhay, Feldman, and Wilson for the Rangers tonight. Texas trying to get to 9 and 10. Stay within a game of first place early on here. Line shot foul. That one goes rattling into the camera well. Check out the Panasonic Plasma Speed of Sports replay. Ichiro tripling earlier. Triples are always fun to watch unless they're against you, but Ichiro gives you a chance to watch. He sails in a third base on that ball down the right field line. The Rangers in the bottom of the 9th will have 2, 3, 4 in the order coming up against the closer J.J. Putz. Catalanato, Young, and Teixeira trying to set it up for Sammy Sosa. Wilson just missed 3 and 2. Seattle had a 4-0 lead in this game. Rangers came back with 2 in the bottom of the 4th on a Blaylock home run, his first of the year. Then tied the game in the 5th, but left the bases loaded in the 5th inning. Seattle with a run in the 7th to go ahead. Ichiro chops it foul. The Rangers were facing Cha Sung-baek tonight, a guy that had always manhandled the Rangers before. But tonight the Rangers putting 4 runs up there against him in just a little more than 4 innings.
I don't know what he was doing there. He's trying to get out of the way. I think that ball just came up and in on him, not even close to being a strike. Fortunately, the bat made contact with the ball instead of ball 4. He actually started his swing to try and hit that ball. He's so geared up to hit CJ's fastball. He's pretty much swinging at whatever he throws up there.
That one is right back to CJ. Boy, he got rid of it like it was a hand grenade too. Just, hey, I know it's Ichiro, so here, you take it.
Not going to beat this one out.
That's important to keep Ichiro off the bases in a one-run game. Beltre coming up next.
I've been really impressed with the way CJ's thrown the last 2 times. Velocity has been exceptional.
Energized by all that titanium that he's wearing there, a tag maybe?
Well, that's a titanium necklace. Braided. It's 3 of them actually braided into one. Must be adding velocity to his fastball.
Wow, that
was a changeup right there.
Yeah, dials it down on Beltre.
Pretty nice.
Who's got a home run against Wilson fairly recently. He's no match for the triple titanium strength of C.J. Wilson. Got
a lot of the players are wearing those necklaces. You can watch a game, and I'll be surprised if you don't see a pitcher during every game, at least one pitcher that's got not necessarily the braided version like that, but one of the titanium necklaces.
Why don't you guys just go get titanium suits and get it over with?
Well, you can buy a titanium t-shirt.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Titanium long sleeve t-shirt.
Did he go? Sure looked like it. Yes, sir. Bye-bye Beltre. 2 down. Well, now I know what to get you for your birthday next March. Get you a titanium long sleever. You can just hold off till
they've got the titanium necklaces now that are, they say, 30 times more powerful than the regular ones. I put one of those things on, and I was lifting weights one day, and I got dizzy. I went back to the guy and said, "Is there anything strange about that?" He said, "Well, yeah, sometimes your system doesn't tolerate the high strength." So I had to go back to the regular dosage.
And you put that barbell through the ceiling. Was that a clue?
Yeah, I mean, when I bench pressed 490 pounds, boy, I was really impressed. Got done lifting weights, did a backflip, 300 push-ups, drank a gallon of sports drink.
1-1 pitch is down and outside, and then you leapt tall buildings in a single bound.
Then I ran a marathon.
Well, for CJ, I mean, if he can just take care of Ichiro here, we'd be fine with that. Rangers being out hit 11-9 right now. Check swing, foul into the crowd.
You can tell by the way the hitters are approaching the pitches that CJ's throwing, that they're not very comfortable facing CJ right now. He got good movement on his fastball, and they're just not comfortable at all.
Grounder, base hit. The little dribblers just keep finding ways to get to the open hole. 2 hits for Ichiro now tonight. And folks, this year when you can't be home to catch the Rangers, check out MLB.tv. You can log on to TexasRangers.com, catch every out-of-market game live. TexasRangers.com, where baseball is always on. Now Wilson going to go after Ibanez, a lefty. Ibanez had a wonderful season last year. Nationally, it was almost like nobody cared.
I think they would have cared if they knew about it.
Yeah, well, we're trying to give him some pub here. 33 home runs, 123 runs batted in.
Yeah, he's a good player.
That one popped way up there into the crowd.
Seems to make good plays against us in the outfield, too. He's made a nice play on Catalinato in this game. A sliding catch, take a base hit away from Cat.
Well, we've said it before. No one in baseball maybe puts up better numbers than this guy with less fanfare. Obviously, it's a pretty deep shadow cast by Ichiro. He's always going to be the guy that captures the attention on this team.
Well, you don't even get their box scores on the East Coast until a day late, so it's a little tougher to follow Seattle.
Well, the wind picking up. The 0-2 pitch is down, 1-2. Career .283 hitter, was a shade above that last year. Not bad for a one-time 36th round pick. He's going to reach out and belt that one to right field. On the move, Nelly Cruz. He got it. And the Rangers have themselves a shot now in the bottom of the 9th inning with some good hitters coming up. Catalanato, then Young, then Teixeira. It is 5-4. The order about to come up right now energized the Rangers when they rallied in the 5th inning. Catalanato and Young, and then Mark Teixeira with a base hit. Sammy Sosa did too. Those are the guys coming up now against J.J. Putz. And Catalanato bouncing the first one he sees over to Sexton. 1 pitch, 1 out. So it's left to Young and to Tex. Again, Seattle without a save this entire season. For J.J. Putz, a quality closer, like my partner out of the University of Michigan.
Yeah, he hasn't had any opportunities. Had a little bit of an injury in spring training, but he's throwing the ball just like he did last year right now.
Michael Young, 1 out of 4. Now, we were talking about that term fireman earlier. He used to describe the closer. J.J. Putz is from a family of literally firemen. He's got an uncle who's a fireman, one of his grandparents. He says if he wasn't talented at baseball or if he blew out his arm or something, that's what he would have been.
Well, to a certain degree, they still use that term because the relief pitcher of the year, sponsored by Rolaids, is called the fireman of the year.
When they started that award, that's exactly what we used to call the relief guy that would come on for the save, was a fireman.
Yeah.
Now he's a stopper or the closer. The 0-2 is high. The Rangers, Tag, they have just 1 hit since Sammy Sosa tied the game with his RBI single in the 5th.
Again, extremely shallow in right field in a 1-run game. Generally, you play a little bit deeper in the 9th inning of a 1-run game so that the hitter can't hit the ball over your head for an extra base hit where he could score on a single. But I think the way that the wind is blowing tonight is just keeping the ball from carrying. And that might have something to do with how shallow he is. But even with the wind, a line drive is going to get by him a little bit quicker right now. And a little bit dangerous to play that shallow. It's also not Guillen.
Yeah,
I think that's Ellison out.
I think that is Ellison out there. We apparently have a new right fielder. We're not made aware of that. Good catch here, Tag.
Kept saying, well, wait a minute. They must be showing the wrong guy, but it's still Ibanez and it's still Ichiro, so that is not Guillen.
That is the shallow individual that is Ellison. The 2-2, and it's fouled away. We'll do it again. Mark Teixeira would be next, and will be next. We're trying to get it to Sammy Sosa after that. Rangers have stranded 9 tonight, including the bases loaded back in the 5th. I'll give the Seattle bullpen some credit, because the Rangers are just 1 for 12 since the starter Cha Sung-baek left the game. Good fight here from Michael Young. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming up. And Michael sends it towards right. There is Ellison going over and is out of room. Frustrating start to the season for Michael Young, and everything is up here to Mike, at least in this at bat. Trying to turn things back around for himself right now. Get a big hit in the 9th inning. In the air, way up there. Betancourt back. Has to move along with the wind there to take care of it. And the long at bat ends. Mark Teixeira comes up, and he needs to get on. Tech certainly another guy who is due. 19 games, close to 80 plate appearances now. Still looking for that first long ball. Ground ball, and with the shift, there's Beltre, and there's the ball game. There's the first save for Seattle's bullpen all year. The Rangers cannot come back as they did yesterday. They fall tonight by the final of 5-4. Now Seattle breaking a 6-game losing streak, improving to 6-9. The Rangers dropped to 8-11. Ichiro had the 3 hits. And the Rangers, Tom, just couldn't get anything done against that bullpen.
No, they were very impressive, and they were throwing hard too.
For Tom Grieve and Jim Knox, Josh Lewin inviting you to join us tomorrow at 1 over on KDFW Fox 4. Our next FSN Southwest telecast Wednesday at 6. The Rangers will be in Cleveland. And Ford Rangers Live will kick off then at 5:30. Stay tuned for Rangers Live. The postgame coverage coming up right now on FSN Southwest.